Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Stat385. In this week 9, we will be covering data transformation through the tidyverse, or using tidy data, speaking generally, tidyverse specifically, where the tidyverse is a collection of packages which use a common language to do different tasks for organizing, manipulating, wrangling, and visualizing data. It will be a new command control structure for manipulating data and visualizing it. But as you will come to see, I think that it will become much more fast and powerful for manipulating and visualizing data than what would otherwise exist in base R. Base R is still important. There are things where tidyverse can't or isn't easily used for everything, but in most cases, and in my experience, I really like the tidyverse. I think it's great, and it's really easy to do a lot of data manipulation relatively fast or quickly using the tidyverse. So I like it, I use it, and so I hope you will like it and use it as well. But there will be a bit of a learning curve, but nonetheless, even with the learning curve, and once you get over it, tidyverse is one of the ways to go for manipulating and visualizing data. However, and I don't want you to think that we spent all this time doing base R and that was like a pain. It isn't. It's good to know how tidyverse is working under the hood, because it would be using base R functionality, and there's always cases where tidyverse doesn't necessarily work, and so to have the base R understanding is very important. Okay, so that being said, week 9, you're on the welcome page. There is a lot of reading. Some of it it's not particularly long reading, but there are a lot of references. This vignette is going to introduce you to the concept of a tibble. I would recommend reading this. A tibble, by the way, it's just a data frame. Actually, you know what? Connecting it back to what we did last week, with like the different classes of things. Basically, a tibble is just a different class for a data frame within the tidyverse system. But one noticeable thing is that it when you hit name of data frame, or name that you've assigned a particular data frame, when it is in fact a tibble, what is outputted via the printing is different and organized and is done sort of intentionally so you don't have to scroll up if you have a million rows or something like that, so that you can get just a snapshot of what the data is. So it's rather nice, and you can always convert back and forth between data frames and tibbles. Anyways, I'm getting too far ahead of myself. Okay, so tibble vignette, very nice to read. And then here are some various cheat sheets. These, especially this ggplot2 and dplyr, are the ones we would be using in this series of videos. But I'll link to all of them here. They're very nice. They show a bunch of basics for using functionality within the tidyverse. Okay, with some new data sets that we'll cover. Right, so a few videos. Welcome to week 9. Here we are. Data and tibbles is kind of an introduction into the thinking of the tidyverse through tibbles. And then we'll cover some data visualization, data manipulation with dplyr. I think it's important especially with data manipulation with dplyr, to think in the back of your mind how you would perform the same sets of tasks using functionality in base R. And as we progress through the class, keeping that thought in mind, because tidyverse is pretty nice. And it is again, I know that I said that it's easier once you master a learning curve, but all of the packages within this tidyverse are intentionally written to be as user-friendly as possible, where you are manipulating data using a language that's much easier understood than, line by line coding in base R. At least that's the intention. And then lab 6, we will start from complete nothing and build a what I think is a decently beautiful visualization that accomplishes the goal. And you can go through the video and just at the end get the code, and that'll be the assignment. But it's important to go through step by step to see how it's done, and you can see how you can just iterate small changes in a very sort of compact, concise way to change the visualization with ggplot. Okay, great. First assignments after exam 1 due this week, October 24th. Quiz 5, so there's still time to get 105%. Get your buffer points. Lab 6, quiz 6 posted. Reminder, there's only going to be 8 labs and quizzes in the class, so still get your buffer points in. And this will be our unit on tidy data, and then after that, we'll have exam 2, and then the rest of the time is yours to build a Shiny application. Now, we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but saying that we are nearing the end of labs and quizzes. But, just as the start of the class, after exam 1, they will, stream on in, just like they did before. Okay, office hours are same as the syllabus. All right, let's have a good week. I like the tidyverse. I'm a fan, so I will see you in the videos. We'll be talking about it, and come to office hours if you have questions. All right, take care. Bye.